Hi, guys. Let's start. Pay attention inside. Be there. Be present with yourself. Eyes open or closed, doesn't matter. Be present. How can we be more present? Transmigrate in your body. With the same will that you practiced yesterday, paying attention to someone and looking with its intention, look with this intention. Put some will. It's not just intellectual in the head. There's will. I want it. I'm in my body. And from that, eventually, when you feel energy, you'll feel that you are filling your body with yourself. So do that. Breathe. Inhabit yourself. That's the willpower thing. Feel. Feel yourself. And observe. Even if there's nothing to observe, just observe yourself. These are 4 states of being where we breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe. Eventually it becomes one state of being. You're just there, conscious. But we like to separate it in components easier to identify. There's a breath, so we're conscious of the breath. We inhabit, putting our will to be present in the body. So it's a bit more intense. Feel. Even if there's not much to feel, you are emotionally sensitive, you're available. And observe. Breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe. It is a state of being present and mindful. Just doing that makes you more conscious. So now we're relaxing, embracing the presence, being present. Breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe. Keep your will active, but relax in it. Seems like a contradiction. Your will to be present, but you're relaxing in yourself. Simply trying to shut your head and be in silence is too hard. So we keep the mind busy doing a practice, a technique. And we separate it in components so that your intellect will find it easier to follow the practice. When we try to meditate, we just go sit silent, immobile, and try not to think. It doesn't work. It's impossible. So what we do is we practice being intentionally. So it's not just relaxing. There's an intention of being present and filling your body. So now you're focused on how your body feels. How does that feel? All right, take a deep breath and come back and relax. Well, we were already relaxed, but now we release the intention. We just let go of that intention. We'll talk about how to stop the mind. I've taught it 1,000,000 times. Let's go again. If you have a big bowl of water with waves on the surface, and you want the wave to stop, and you force it with your hands, stop, fucking wave, stop, you're just going to make more waves. Trying to stop your mind by forcing it to stop just causes a conflict and turbulence in your mind. What's the solution if you want waves to stop on the surface of your bowl of water? You look at it and you wait. So when you have thoughts going around while you're practicing a technique, don't freak out. It's normal. Just practice the technique. And when you realize that you were following a fantasy instead of doing the technique, like you had literally, oh wow, for the last minute, I'm not doing the technique. I'm paying my credit cards, or riding my bike or whatever. Don't freak out. Don't be, oh shit, I can't do this. Don't freak out. You're not supposed to be able to stop your mind. The mind is creative. Its job is to create thinking process. So don't be hard on your mind for doing what it's supposed to. Okay? Relax. Come back to the technique. Every time. And after a while, you'll just sit and be present. You'll have little microwaves in the brain. No, not microwaves in the brain. We can't use it. Little waves in the brain. Because microwaves in the brain is unhealthy. Not the same thing. The taste is, intense. I'm not sure if I like it or hate it or both. Anyway, thank you. So it's help. It's medicine. It tastes like shit. I love it. All right. Peace doesn't come by forcing it. Peace comes by removing what prevents peace from naturally coming. The same way that to calm your mind, you give it time. You accept that your mind thinks about stuff. And you focus on being present. You do a practice. Sometimes we'll say a Sanskrit word in our mind while doing that. We breathe, inhabit, feel and observe Shanti. Shanti. We'll repeat it every 5 to 10 seconds. Shanti. We can whisper it. Shanti. Not necessarily now. Now I'm just talking. We'll add a word, but it's the same thing. Just be present, feel ourselves here, and use a word to contemplate. Just to add another job to the brain, so the brain can focus on that. And patiently give enough time to your mind to settle. "20 years ago, I was mostly in intense training, although I was already ordained in this and that and this and that. I still trained a lot. So I would sit, look at a point on the floor, and be 3 hours immobile without a single thought. Stillness of mind. And at one point during COVID, with my parents with dementia, with my kids having trouble at school, well, not them, but other people had trouble with my kids at school, like bullying, basically. And, shit was flying left and right, in many other topics. And I sat and I couldn't stop my mind. Because in life there's turbulence. I couldn't stop my mind. I couldn't be immobile. I could do a minute once in a while, and I was happy. It's like, good. But I knew better than to be hard on myself. I could do 3 hours. I can't do freaking 3 seconds. Bad little Maha, Come on. All right. It's what it is. Oh, I'm turbulent today. Oh, I'm turbulent this year. Yeah. Oh, I'm turbulent this decade. Look at that. I could complain like anyone that the pandemic threw my finances off left and right, but I ate every day. I had sheltered, like, I'm good. But my mind couldn't stop. And when my mom was at the hospital, my mind couldn't stop. I love her. I'm worried. It happens. It's life. Good. You ready for another practice? Okay, we're going to do it with the Shanti. Okay? Never be hard with your mind. It's not supposed to stop. It's not built to stop. It's something we have to learn and not impose. And if you're doing the component of the practice, regardless of the, invading thoughts, or I don't want to say invading, and it's their right to be in the mind. The undesired thoughts, let's say that. Still judgmental, but it's the word I found now. As long as you do the technique, it works. That's proper meditation. Focus on the breath. Inhabit your body. A bit of will, but peaceful and relaxed. I am in my body. I feel my mass. I feel my flesh. Feel, even if there's nothing to feel, you're just emotionally available, and observe. You're mentally available. And observe your body. Observe what's going on. Breathe, inhabit, feel, observe. You can do all four at a time or one after the other, depending on how much practice you have. And in your mind, once in a while, every, say 5 to 10, can be 3 to 6, I don't know. Every few seconds, Shanti. You can whisper it softly, Shanti. Or you can keep it in your mind, Shanti. I say it louder just to guide you. Shanti. Present in the body. Calm in the mind, but accepting what the mind does. Focus on the body, inhabit, be present. Shanti. Shanti. Breathe, inhabit, feel, and observe at your rhythm, all at once or one step after another. Shanti. Just calming yourselves. When we are new to meditation, it's a bit difficult. And it's acceptable. Accept it. This is where you're at. If you've never done it, it's normal to be weird, disturbing. Shanti. Slowly contemplating the concept of peace, of relaxing. That brings in our subconscious mind a desire to have more peace. It is great to meditate accepting your own rhythm, accepting your pace. Take a deep breath and release the intention of meditation. So when you come back from meditation, don't force the meditation away. Like, okay, I'm here. Just focus on being natural, and the meditation state will fall off as its rhythm. The same way you don't want to impose violently meditation on your mind when it needs a bit of time to get in the mood. When you're done meditating, don't come back like, all right, we're present, bam, and you're slowly coming back, and give your mind a chance to come back to a more present state. Don't push away the meditation. Just focus on being here and release the practice, so that you're not going to be aggressive to your mind. No violence on the mind. All right. First class, we focus on recognizing egocentrism and disappointments inside us. Now we're focusing on meditation. And it's a course of meditation. So we're not going to do a 1 hour meditation. We did it, 5 minutes? And then we can talk about it. The more we're used to feeling energy, the chi feeling, the more when we focus on ourselves, we will feel that we're feeling ourselves. That means that we were empty. If we feel that we are getting into our body very present and more heavy, it means that before doing that, we were not in our body, or else we wouldn't see a difference. You understand that? So the mind and the soul actually hovers around and is not fully incarnate, because we're so, up there. For the same reason, you can work for hours not even realizing that you're hungry. Sometimes you don't even breathe, like on a computer, and like after 15 minutes, we even forget to breathe if we're still stuck in the mind. We're not in the body. We're not present, So it's normal that it's a new thing. So we meditate to give a chance for our body to have some of that consciousness, and it calms the mind. After that, you'll be more performant with your mind. If you go to the gym and you want to get stronger, so you'll say, I'm not going to do 12 repetitions, I'm going to do 150. You're just going to fuck up your muscles. Going to be handicapped for 3 weeks, You have to do the thing, and then spend a day without even lifting anything after that. Give it that 48 hours it needs to heal. Some of you is like, well, you have to exercise every day. Yeah, but not the same thing, not the same muscles. Or else you're damaging them, not helping. So, in your mind, busy, organize, go to work, come back, check your emails. In the evening, can't stand a moment of silence, open the TV, radio's always on, let's watch a show and try to fall asleep on it. And your mind is constantly active. So your mind breaks and you have a mental breakdown. Or you're less performant. Sometimes you can't think, you're foggy. When you're foggy, your mind is saying, stop. Just stop, please. Just give me a break. So when you start meditating and the mind is not used to it, the mind will freak out after 5 minutes of an activity. But you do your 5 minutes. The best is 20, but you do your 5. And you respect yourself. Lately, I sat to do meditation, and after 5 minutes, like, fuck that, can't do it anymore. Like, that's it. Been doing it for 30 years, but no, not last week. There was this moment, it's like, no, I'm moving my body now. I'm going to play a video game. That's what I'm going to do. Screw that. So it comes in waves, But usually a 20-minute is the most benefit. Then your mind, you don't go back to activity immediately, but your mind goes back into a state it can perform, and you're not foggy anymore. You gave it its rest. And that's pretty good. And also you get the benefits of your focus when you meditate. In this case, Shanti manifests equity and balance. Shanti, that means that. Bring balance and equity. Shan is to manifest, T is equilibrium, balance, equity. So yeah, it brings peace. It brings, and that is healthy. And then we're going to learn, maybe we're going to learn siddhis, other practices. And actually the practice that we're doing next, I don't know if we do it now or in the afternoon, is extremely complex. And actually with so many new people online and in the room, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull this off. But anyway, let's try it, okay? All right, let's just teach it now then. Yeah, let's do it now. Let's go to one of the most advanced and hard to grasp siddhi that exists. A siddhi, S-I-D-D-H-I, siddhi, it means a Sanskrit word that you repeat. Like we say, I was going to say like this is a mala. I was looking for my mala. This is a mala. You can do it like Shanti, Shanti, like we did yesterday. We're going to do a siddhi with the mala soon. Who wants to write on the billboard? Manajava. Who knows how to write it? You know how to write it?
M-A-N-A-J-A-V-A.
M-A-N-A-H. Java H. Yeah. Mana Java. In the dictionary, it means think fast. If you don't understand Sanskrit, it means think fast. Okay? But actually, it means operate at the speed that your mind has. Okay? This is not the true profound meaning, it's just closer. To operate at the speed of mind. It's still not the goal that we aim for. But it doesn't mean think fast. You actually want to slow down your mind. And when your mind is slowed down, it becomes more efficient. You're still present. But then what it does, Manajava goes into your emotional state, your energy state, and your physical state. Goes into the other bodies, and it helps these bodies operate at the speed of your mind that you have slowed down through relaxation and peace. So the mind slows down a bit, but your emotional process is faster. Your energy is more efficient, and your body can operate at the speed of thought. What does that mean? Well, some people say that if you practice it long enough, you could actually teleport. Because you have just think to be there and pop you there. I mean, if we can't, no one teleport this weekend, let's just, put it in the Harry Potter files, right? Let's keep it chill. But what it does is it will change your relationship with space and time. And that can be verified because you'll have experience that the experience of time flowing is going to be different. Manajava makes reality flexible. So, since we want to do a practice to learn to affect reality with our mind, that we will do this afternoon with the dices, and maybe with water bottles, not sure. We have a bunch of water bottles. We'll see what we do then, okay? I don't want to take too much time on what is the soul, okay? This is not a soul quest seminar. Not apparently. So, we're just going to say the soul is a part of you that experiences stuff. Because you have thoughts. You agree that you have thoughts? Okay. You have bottled water, so you are not the bottled water. It's something you have. You have a body, so you're not your body. It's something you have. You have thoughts, that means you are not your thoughts. It's something you have. You are the thing that is conscious. You are the person there conscious of what you experience. That's the soul. Simple as that. You just save 20 years of pilgrimage in temples to find your soul. The soul, it's a joke I like to say, not accurate. Maybe it's 15 years you've saved. I don't know. So the soul is, you're conscious of what you experience. You're the thing that lives all that. Okay? And your soul, yourself, when you have an experience, everything is mixed together as one single unified thing. So, when we breathe, there's an event. The breath is not an object. The lungs, the diaphragm is an object. Your body is an object. The breath is an event. It's an action. Okay? This is hardcore. Let's try it. For the soul, the body and the breath is the same thing. That means that mass and action is the same thing. In the mechanical world, when you throw a ball, the ball is the object. The bouncing, dang, 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 is the action. In the mechanical world, or manifest reality if you want, mass and event are clearly separate phenomena. And when they both are together, you have an object and it's doing something you can observe and experience. And then react to it or not. Okay? But for the soul, the ball and the feeling of the bouncing is the same thing. The breath and the body is one unified experience. Try to understand intellectually and try to feel. And you think, my body and my breath is the same thing. Manajava. You say the phrase in English to help you follow, or in Spanish. And you try to trick your mind in getting how the soul experiences everything as unified phenomena in experience. Everything is unified experience, okay? My body and my breath is the same thing. We'll add another component to make it easier for the practice to work. The air that you are breathing is an object. The air and the breath is the same thing. Very matrix, yeah. My body, the air, and the breath is the same thing. It's not distinct phenomena. The ball and the bouncing is the same thing. It's not two separated aspects. It's one unified experience. Mass and action is the same thing. Manajava. That's what Manajava means. When you pay attention to your breath, your thoughts about your breath and the breath itself is the same thing. Your mind and your body is the same thing. Your breath and the air is the same thing. There is no separation between thoughts, mass, event, object, and experience. It's one thing. Everything is unified. It looks separate through our senses, but as an experience, it is only the same thing. For the soul, holding a rock and the rock and your hand is the same thing. That gets a bit funky. Your hand and the rock is the same thing. Yeah. Your body and the air you breathe is the same thing. Manajava. Everything is a unified experience without separation. All right, take a deep breath, come back, but don't push away the meditation because I'm going to give you another aspect, okay? The area where you are is here. That's a funky one. Let's try it. You experience being here, wherever you are. But you see me, and in your mind you experience me there. Get it? The same way that I feel here, and everything else is there. You are there. From me is here, okay? So, every one of us are experiencing the same thing. We are here. So for the soul, we're all exactly in the same place. In the mechanical world, there's a geographic difference. There's a distinction of the mass of the body here and the other here, which are two theirs for themselves. But for the soul, there's only one place in the universe that exists, and it's here. So there is not real. Because nothing has ever been experienced anywhere else than where it has been experienced. Nothing has ever been experienced there. That's just opinion, projection, perception, interpretation. Everything that has been experienced forever in the universe is in the experience of here. Therefore, there does not exist. There is no there to differentiate. And like we said yesterday, if everything was a woman, we wouldn't have women. So if there does not exist, then here doesn't either. There's just reality, and it's unified. All right, I just lost half the people here. Let's take a break with this. Okay. For the soul, the experience of every aspect is just one phenomena. And it is in the human that we have separated every aspect. This is the body, the breath is an action, where I'm sitting is a place, and the time is now, but there's a time because it's not at 12, it's at 11 something, you know. We've separated all of that. But since for the soul there is no time, because there's no now, so there's no time. It's like we're just real. Did I teach this yesterday morning or afternoon? Morning. Okay, so some people did not even have that teaching. Okay. If everything, whatever happened in the past, it was now when it happened. So now is the present, and our past is just a memory of the event. It's not real. Because when it happened, it was now. Then it was over. Everything that will happen in the future, it will be now when it happens. So only now is real. There is no past, there is no future. It's memory, it's projection, it's prudence, planification of your retirement, it's hopes and false hopes, it's dreams, but it's not real. The future does not exist. Only now exists. Okay? So, for the soul and the experience of Manajava, here and now is the same thing. It's reality. Since there is no here because it's the only thing that exists, so it doesn't, and there is no now because it's the only thing that exists, so it doesn't, there's reality. So here and now is the same thing. That means times and space is the same thing. And there's so much energy you can spend in reality at any given moment. So the more you spend energy in motion, the less you spend it in time. You get it? That's how you can transact, you can change space and time. Because it's the same thing. Experience through that separation or that separation. You get it? That's Manajava. I know it's pretty hardcore. Some people's like, what the fuck is he talking about? I get it. But the little you understood of what I just explained is enough to do the practice and start to feel the effect. Reality is malleable. You can trade one part of the perceived experience to another thing if you know how, if you have it in mind, if you know how to focus on it. Cool? Weird? Cool, right? And all my decade-long students, some of you 10, 15, 20 years, are like, yeah, this is freaking cool, man. I get it. They understand everything. The others, you're not supposed to understand everything. This is severely weird, okay? So don't worry about it. Okay? Then we're going to do experiences that demonstrate what we just said as a physically observable phenomenon. Okay? We'll do another 3 minutes, more or less, of practice. Space and time is the same thing. For a moment, discredit your perception. Discredit your senses. What tells you that space is a thing and time is another thing. Just discredit your beliefs. And just practice. Space and time is the same thing. My body breathing and the act of breathing is the same thing. And everything experienced is here and now. Reality. Okay? Let's do our best. And whatever we understand, we do. And whatever we don't, and it's okay. Because the more you practice Manajava, the more it will open. And you'll start to see the matrix. There's no matrix, by the way. That's a metaphor. We are not in a simulation. That's the dreams of some funky dudes who try to pull whatever. We are in reality. And even if we were in a simulation, you still have to manage your payments and your heartbreak. So it's reality, okay? Doesn't matter. Like all the stuff about illusion, we don't need that. Because it doesn't matter. Okay, not now. So Manajava will show you that the world is malleable. That reality is a suggestion. And we just believe it. But reality is a suggestion. Manajava. My body, my breath, and my mind is the same thing. Manajava. My body, my breath, and my mind is the same thing. Space and time is the same thing. Manajava. Manajava. Keep it for a minute. So I'll come back. Take a deep breath and come back. Usually you would do this for 20 minutes. Just to help you realize that reality is a suggestion. It's malleable. But we really like the suggestion. We're really into it. But it's a suggestion. It's malleable. And just train. So if it's too hard to train for, an hour, train for 20. And if it's too hard to meditate for 20 minutes, do it 5. And if you don't want to meditate, well, please don't. This is a technique I'm showing, but you're not going to do all the techniques I can teach. I'm going to teach a lot of things, then you take what you want and you go home and you do it if you feel like it. If there's a phenomenon that you feel more important for you, if there's something more tempting, then you do that. At the minimum, once you're disappointed, when you realize that you're reacting and stuck in your mind and your heart, do integration, emotional integration. Go and say, okay, yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm going to stop shouting at people. I'm going to take my look at my disappointment. If you do that, that's the best. Then we do spiritual practice to help us have a better life. Okay. We're good? Please stand up. Just relax your shoulders, relax your hips, stretch a bit. All right, we're going to do something that requires us to be a bit present. We can sit down, and we're just to relax the body. You good? Hands, we have them. And great wisdom, right? So there's a little line here where we bend our wrist, okay? So we're going to align the lines and go like this, floop, to see if we have a finger longer than the other. Because usually we have a little difference, okay? So let's try not to push left, right. It's just something like that. We do it again, because that's this highly not scientific protocol. Just to see, yeah, I get more or less the same measurement. Just to see if you did it correctly. What we're going to do now, we're going to take part of our left hand, the matter to compose it, and we're going to shrink our left hand just a bit. And we're going to expand our right hand and make it bigger. And then we're going to do the contrary to bring it back. Cool? All right. Believing is not required. I don't want to believe anything that looks supernatural until you've actually experienced it. What I'm going to ask you is pretend until you really see the phenomena. Okay? Now, some people can't do it. Doesn't matter. It's like anything else. Sometimes the new people have less control over reality and mass and stuff. But I had a friend who was pianist, and she never could do the hand thing. But she was a pianist. She had so much definition on how her fingers and her hands are, she could never change that. She did every other thing supernatural, but not that. Okay, so it is what it is. Now what we're going to pay attention to both our hands. Don't touch him. Just keep it like that. And feel the energy inside. Whatever that means. Just paying attention to your hands. Those who feel chi already feel your hands just filled up. And it doesn't really matter. Now you're going to the mass of the fingers. You're going to look at your left hand and sometimes your right, okay? When you breathe in, you're going to put your willpower like, yeah, I'm pulling this in. When you breathe in, take all the resource that composes your left hand and put it in your right, and your right hand expands. Your finger becomes longer and longer. Your hand is bigger and bigger. Your left hand becomes smaller and smaller. Fake it until it's real. Pretend that you'll play along. Put some will, be theatrical, be intense about it. I'm breathing in, all right. Small left hand, a huge right hand. Make your right hand so freaking immense. Pull your left hand in. It's shrinking. Some of the mass, the particles, the atoms that compose your bones, your muscles, are going from your left hand through your body into your right hand. That greatly expands. You're shrinking your left hand, you're expanding your right. For some of you, it tingles. Little clicky, 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 little points. That's normal. That's the atom flipping from one side to the other. Just keep going. Want it. Believe it. Fake it if you have to. Put your will into it. A smaller, smaller, and smaller left hand. A bigger and bigger right hand. Bigger and bigger is the right hand. It's shifting. You live it, you want it. It takes a few minutes. You don't touch your hands to anything, but you relax. Don't touch your hand to anything. Don't rest them on your lap. Just keep it like that. And don't look at them. Just doesn't matter. The process we've done built up a change. Now the change is finalizing. It's still happening. You let it work. Just relaxing into it. And you measure. Take your hands, bloop, and check the difference. And then, again. All right? There's a limit to how much you can push that. There are limits in nature that will require much more skill and practice. But you've got that little difference. For some, it's a millimeter. For some, it's half an inch. So who's got like the 1/8 of an inch or the half an inch? You guys? Yeah, half an inch difference? Yeah. That's kind of crazy, right? All right. Reality is malleable. It is a suggestion. And if you put enough willpower in your desired result, it builds up a potential and it starts to work to give you what you want. And that potential energy spends itself and it keeps going. So now what we're going to do, we're going to measure again to see if it's even more, because the potential keeps working. For me, it's the same now. Cool? Weird? All right. Your right hand is shrinking. Your left hand is expanding. My left hand is so big. My right hand is small. My right fingers are becoming mighty digits and my left finger stretching so intense. Want it, believe it. My right hand is small, the fingers are pulling in. At the atomic level, the mass is shifting into my left hand, expanding, getting bigger and bigger. Take a deep breath and relax. Let it work. We chill. Reality is measurable. Measure. Twice. We cool? It's funky, eh? Yeah. Welcome to the world of shape-shifting. Werewolf classes next week. Just kidding. There are limits to what nature can do until you learn to transcend even those limits. And even then, at some point it's just too much resource spent. But you just had some control over the shape of your body in a few minutes. Because we took the time to feel shitty first do some integration, look at ourselves, to loosen up that heart. And then we did a practice of meditation, relaxing how reality is hard, and just reality becomes malleable a bit. And you affect it. Just by wanting it hard. If you have it just in the intellect, I'm visualizing, I'm doing it, does nothing, yeah. Has to be in the guts, has to be felt. Put your animal into it. Because that's what affects nature. It's the vital body. When you put your will into it, it's your vital body is doing the alteration. Both hands, shanti, peace, natural balance. My hands are as they were before. They're in equilibrium. It's okay. Everything's at peace and balance. They're normal. And you measure again twice. Good. So, this is how you can change your eye color. It takes way more time, but you can affect your eye color. Like this psychiatric, I still didn't look it up. I was supposed to look it up yesterday, forgot it. But his client has multiple personality. One personality has green eyes, and the other, it's blue eyes, and the other is brown eyes. And one has diabetes, and the other doesn't. And it takes about 10 seconds to switch for the eyes. When there's a change of personality, the eyes change color. So that means that's a rare phenomenon, but since it was observed multiple times and documented, it demonstrates that it is possible for eye color to change. That means that we can focus on it and have it. It's not necessarily useful. It's not necessarily healthy. It's a lot of wasted resource, but it's super cool. But it's not the best investment. So why would we try to change the finger length? There's no point. I mean, some people have ideas, but no. Just kidding. So one of my students in May says, I did it when I dig my height, and it works. I mean, to each their own. Yeah, so if you want to have a shift that stays, I'm not talking about penis, but your breast size, whatever you want. If you want to shift that change, you have to do it and not come back, not do the equilibrium, but your body will come back anyway. In minutes you'll come back. So you have to do it repeatedly for more than 5 minutes just before you go to bed. And when you go to bed, contemplate, okay? This is the form of my body. For me, what was useful was for healing and for rectifying a twisted bone in my knee and stuff like that, okay? And you have to do it while you rest. If you have good rest, if you have deep sleep, this is where your body reconstructs itself. So it will start to reconstruct with the new plan in mind. So it's a very small influence, and you have to do this for months, every day, to keep the momentum. Any belief you have, any hardness of mind, arrogance, egocentrism, selfishness, false hopes, dramatic, playing the victim, all these stuff, it's pulling you back to how you see yourself. And it's against you in any modulation of reality you want to do. You get it? That's why personal growth gives supernatural abilities. Now, I don't want to say if Jesus really walked on water or not. I don't know. Never seen it. Don't have proof. Don't care. But he had some supernatural abilities, and he was a good guy. He was teaching philosophy and how to be a good person. Now, Krishna, the same. Supernatural abilities. Krishna, a lot of dialogue on alteration of reality and non-action and, space and time stuff. In their way, And at the yoga for the Buddhists, a lot of people had apparently historically supernatural abilities, and all of those were saints who taught personal growth. Anyone who has some kind of power of reality is fundamentally a person that works on himself. That's the standard in all humanity. And I would never ask you to believe anything I'm saying right now without first saying, hey, you can affect your body. Hey, yesterday you felt the energy of someone else just looking at you. We do exercises to demonstrate through obvious experiences that you can't deny that you can have these experiences yourself. Now, I don't want to say also that all the great miracles from the holy saints of the past are true nor false, but some of them have been a bit, the butter is spread thick. They put a bit more. In China, and in India, there's doctors that their job is to bring people back from the dead. They don't see it as resurrection. They know the person's not dead. It's just like the heart stop, but there's still potential life in there, and they do their acupuncture and stuff, and then the system reactivates. Like we use defibrillators and stuff, but there's the Qi doctors in China. They keep people active when they would have been diagnosed as dead. Okay, so if you have a master who understands that and uses his Qi, like today in China, it's still practiced today. I mean, there's always a Qi doctor in a surgery. There's always this guy that masters Qi in an operation room that I've heard of. Never went there, but that's what I was told. So I said, it makes sense. So then someone dies, and a guy with a lot of focus and power and energy can make it. No, he's not dead. Yeah, okay, resurrection. You see? So we push it into a way that is so Harry Potter, Star Wars-ish, that is so intense, that is so fantastic and even fairy tale, that we lose contact with what is real, and then we become skeptic and we deny everything. So we have to keep in mind, if someone has a cut head, it's going to be a hard time coming back from the dead. Apparently St. John the Baptist did it, but hey, what do we know? Maybe I just lost his mind. We don't know. No, it was a head god. That's documented. Anyway, so this is stuff. I mean, you have to give and take with these stories. Okay? Wink. and accept there are possibilities. Let's be open to those, and let's believe what we have experienced and seen. If we can't do it ourselves, there's enough people in the room who've done it, and it works. Cool? So that's what we want. Keep our minds straight. Do personal growth, be a good person, and then consciousness is available. And your will is available. And the goal is not, to have bigger sexual organs. That's not, if you want to invest your energy there, who am I to talk? But the goal is to have a better life. So if you have a few minutes to manifest on having peace and harmony in your life. Then you'll have to choose not to bitch when shit happens. It has to be a choice. You have to support it with your behavior. Okay, I'm not going to criticize. I'm going to say that this is not according to my preferences. Be polite. It's important to be open-minded and not become a believer, because fantasy kills the mind. Fantasy makes you lose reality. Cool? All right. So that was my introduction to Manajava. There are seminars where I can teach Manajava for days. So deep we can go in non-distinction. But this is not one of those seminars. This is one of those cool introduction with a lot of newbies. But my advanced students are like, yeah, this is the shit, man. Yeah. My hand and the ball is the same thing. Well, not in the mechanical world, but as an experience, yes. When you hold the ball, do you feel the ball? Yeah. So the ball in the hand is the same thing in terms of an experience. But eventually you realize that the soul is right about everything the same. And it is our humans stuck in separation and perception. We are wrong in thinking that space and times are two different things. But everything in our nervous system tells us space is a thing, time is another thing. My hand and that ball, my hand and that cup are obviously separated. Our nervous system is giving us information constantly about aspects of an event. But for a soul, it's a stream of consciousness moving, and now there's a cup. Which brought a confusion for all the quantum physicists that says when you're not looking at atoms that actually don't exist and not manifest. That's not true. They're still there as an experience, but there's no one to separate it from the whole. Okay? just a different way. But they're on a really good track saying when you don't look at atoms, they're not manifest. When you look at them, they're manifest. They're still there. They're still somewhat manifest, whatever manifest means, because when you observe it, you keep it in a state of separation. And when you're just embracing it, you keep it in a state of unity. So someone with pure consciousness of Mahajava could look at the double slit experience that shows that density or potential of atoms and keep them in their potential state while observing them, because they see it as one single experience. Anyway, for those that understand what I just said, well, thank God we got a few quantum physics freaks here. But otherwise, I'm not expecting anyone to follow that last minute. It was just, I just got excited. It's cool, huh? Mahajava goes far. This is Ati Yoga, part of Ati Yoga. That city was created by Krishna, but was not explained by Krishna. She said, do that. Just contemplate that your body, your breath, and your mind is the same thing. That's the limit of his teaching. That's all Krishna said. Because if you do that long enough, eventually you start to get it. But I decided, let's explain it. Let's have our soul say, yeah, I feel stuff. Finally, I'm involved in this physical world of theirs. There are natural laws that are fixed in the sense that when creation happened, whether God created everything or everything just appeared, like when everything was manifested, regardless of how it happened, it was manifested with a basic intention. So no one is thinking for the water to rise and evaporate to become clouds to rain. No one has to think about it. Nature does its thing. That's the base natural intention, also called prakti. Okay? But if you believe in your focus in what you're manifesting with stronger will than the base natural intention, you will override it. And everything you're not paying attention to, the base intention in creation is what rolls. You got it? Basically, that's the mechanics of it. This afternoon, we're going to play with changing the taste of water and roll some dice and affect the results. And just to show you the technique again in various aspects, this is how you do it. And then you say, okay, I get it. This is how you affect nature. Reminding you that your ego has to be clean. Your intention and where you come from and what's your real objective has to be clean. But then just be grateful for everything you have and you'll realize you'll have a bit more. Not everything. No. I find it spectacular that Vishnu as a whole found a way to keep us evolving by not always giving us everything we want. But, if you work on yourself and you evolve without the hard lessons, you don't need the hard lessons, so you get more of what you want. It's life. We all end up aging and dying of a sickness at one point. There are things that are kind of intrinsic in the base intention of nature. And although I do believe as a belief, not a knowledge, but a belief in immortality, or not immortality, extended lifespan, people can live like 200 years. I've not seen it. So let's just stay available. All right, peace. It's 12:20. I know that we need at least 2 hours and a half in this country to make sure everyone gets served. So let's meet at 3. Huh?
I'm just saying in this country. Just
Yeah. In other countries, an hour you're good. In other countries, it's 3 hours. Push it more. Like in Spain, in Alicante, 3 hours is limit. Because people take their time. It's like everything goes around. In Mexico, it's not the attitude of the people. It's the amount of traffic. It's just like life pulls you in those conditions, right? Love you guys. Oh, and thanks for the donations. Those who did. I might not be on the seminar, so I'm very grateful. Thanks.